do. During the heat of the game, it's clear he's a champ when all else disappears. Rally the team with a wink and a cheer. He's the leader that everyone fears. Quickly, it's a real heater. Once my friend, he's a locker room leader. In the chaos, he's the center, turning us into believers.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is Monday night. It is 7 p.m. We are an hour away from Monday Night Raw and the Raw Patrol here at Turnbuckle Studios. But first, it is time for the Locker Room Breakdown. I am OM Dynamic. And ladies and gentlemen, a lot to unpack and only a very little bit to preview tonight. Things are being kept very, very hush-hush from everything that I have found for this evening. Last week, Raw came to us a little bit early as it was in Belfast, Northern Ireland. But what a show it was. We kicked things off with Gunther, who the previous week, and I discussed this last week, had a victory over AJ Styles due to improper positioning by the referee. Gunther did the smart thing. He pulled his hand around behind away from the ref's view when he tapped out. AJ got up thinking he had secured the victory, only to be felled by a low blow and into Gunther's powerbomb. Gunther soaked up every one of the boos and the "you tapped out" chants that he had, and then declared himself for the Royal Rumble. I'm okay with this. I'm okay. But the question remains, what happens with him and AJ? Ladies and gentlemen, we got our answer to that, as AJ Styles came out and challenged Gunther to a rematch. Yes, AJ Styles asked Gunther to face him one more time at the Royal Rumble. Gunther said no. Gunther went to leave. AJ kept egging him on. Gunther came back and said, "There is absolutely nothing you have. There is no incentive for me to take this match." The answer is still no. Unless. And then Gunther got back up and said, "If you really want this rematch at the Royal Rumble, put your career on the line." And he left AJ speechless in the ring. I know, doing the Raw Patrol last week with Mr. Best, he and I were both left absolutely stunned. Shocked. I don't know what the best word is to describe it. It was almost surreal. Up next, we went to the Women's Intercontinental Championship match that had one hell of a shock twist at the end. We all know that when Becky Lynch regained the Women's Intercontinental Champion from Maxine Dupri, she did cheat to win by holding the bottom rope. Last week we had quite the surprise. We were not expecting it, but Natalya accompanied Maxine to the ring. Now, this match was back and forth. And Maxine, girl, keep on keeping on. Keep it up. Keep putting in those reps. You're going to get back there. This match was back and forth, hotly contested. Becky Lynch did control the majority of the match. Maxine Dupri really used her chain and technical wrestling abilities in what made this a wrestling clinic type of match. Maxine even at one point had it too. She had Becky beaten until we get the shock twist as Natalya, who accompanied Maxine to the ring, has been training Maxine. They had the dungeon dolls, and Maxine puts Becky's foot on the rope to break up the pin. Again, stunned, shock. It sent Maxine into a world of confusion, and Becky Lynch got out there, hit the manhandle slam, and picked up the win. Becky Lynch took the Intercontinental title and got her butt out of Belfast. Yes, she raced to get right out of her home country with another cheat to win victory. But as they're saying, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Maxine stood in the ring confused, dumbfounded, looked over at Natty with, again, confusion, maybe a little bit of anger. And as she went to leave, Natty jumped her from behind and proceeded to beat the living daylights out of Maxine Dupri. Multiple attempts at sharpshooters, really trying to take Maxine down a peg. And is this because Natty just hasn't lived up to her own expectations in WWE because of her name? Or are we getting the Natalya that we have seen when she's worked Bloodsport, when she's worked AAA? Are we getting the Natty, ladies and gentlemen, that we as fans truly, truly want to see in the WWE? I know I do, so that is the way I am leaning. Mr. Best, good to see you. Thank you, buddy, for coming in. Greatly, greatly appreciate you. And I will be ready for the Raw Patrol here in just a little while, my friend. A match I really wasn't looking forward to, but did provide some intrigue. We had the Vision, Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and Bronson Reed taking on the Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio, Penta, and Dragon Lee in a 6-man tag team match. This was a match where I was really intrigued by it because even though the Vision, of course, did control the majority of the match, Bronson Reed was the guy that was made to look not necessarily weaker, but really a lot slower than normal. He took a lot of the bumps, missed a lot of his normal moves, the senton, the seated senton. But it was Austin Theory, Logan Paul with their quickness, their deceptiveness that really took it. Bronson, don't get me wrong, he got in a whole lot of offense. He was able to use his strength and power to at times quell the speed of the luchadors. But ladies and gentlemen, we did get the introduction of the Brass Knucks. I did forget to mention, Adam Pearce was sitting ringside for this match. And yes, he was over by the commentary booth. He was not on commentary, but he was sitting ringside. And towards the end of the match, Logan Paul handed Austin Theory the brass knuckles. And Austin Theory was trying to hide his hand behind his back with the knuckles on them when Adam Pearce went over and ripped the brass knuckles off of his hand. They were left sitting on the edge of the ring as Adam Pearce and Paul Heyman were in each other's face, and Adam Pearce was chasing Paul Heyman back up the entryway. This allowed Rey Mysterio, yes, ladies and gentlemen, that Rey Mysterio, he grabbed the brass knuckles and clocked Austin Theory, which then allowed for Penta to set up the Destroyer and pick up the win for his team. This didn't do a lot for me because there's no direction for Penta, for Dragon Lee, or for Rey after this. Unless you're going to put Penta and Dragon Lee now in the tag team title picture, which seriously, if you're going to do that, why not just swap Dragon Lee and Rey Fenix? Why not put Dragon Lee back with Rey and bring Fenix over? Or sorry, Dragon Lee with Rey and bring Fenix over to Raw. You can add strength to your tag team division with just that simple a maneuver. This also bothered me for the fact that I did expect Braun Breaker to break his indefinite suspension and be there to lay out the three luchadors, causing even more turmoil. Now, Braun Breaker did stay back home. He wasn't there at the show, at least that we saw. So I will give credit where credit is due. Braun Breaker played it smart. He wasn't getting himself or the Vision into any more trouble. But if you want the Vision to be this dominant faction, you can't have them losing this six-man tag, having your silent assassin in Big Bronson Reed taking the majority of the bumps in this match. And of course, I am going to say this, having the authority figure get involved and create and cause that distraction. I realized that it was a case of the numbers game, and Adam Pearce was there to even up the numbers game, so to speak, for the luchadors. But this, and I'm going to say this was blatant interference, and the ref should have thrown the match out. So it's just my 2 cents, ladies and gentlemen. I think this match should have been thrown out, should have been a disqualification, however you want to slice it. Okay, next up. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky come out to the ring to get ready, and they're hyping up their tag team title match this past Saturday at Saturday night's main event. And ladies and gentlemen, what a night Saturday was. But we will get into that another time. Rio came out and said, Nobody's going to take these tag titles from us. We are bonded through a respect. We are bonded through everything that we have put each other through. Nobody's taking these titles from us because nobody is ready for us. They were, of course, interrupted by Liv Morgan and Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. Force of habit, ladies and gentlemen, force of habit. Liv came out saying, Roxy and I are a machine. The Judgment Day is back. The Judgment Day is whole. EO, you need to be careful. Rhea Ripley always betrays her tag team partners and who she's closest to. And I'm getting back the tag team championship that I never lost. Ladies and gentlemen, this segment really, really built Saturday night's main event for me and that tag team championship match. It was then followed up by a blindside attack from Raquel Rodriguez, showing that, yes, the Judgment Day women are all on the same page. And not to mention, each and every one of these women declared themselves for the Women's Royal Rumble as well. Meaning that in that situation, it's every woman for herself. So if it comes down to Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, they're going to try and take each other out of the match. If it comes down to any of the two or three Judgment Day members, they're going to do what they can to get the others out of the match. I absolutely don't agree with this. I think this is just the sake of creating friction in tag teams when there's no need for it. We all know that tag teams enter the Rumbles. It's expected. But it did get me hyped for Saturday night's main event that we did see this past Saturday. The match, ladies and gentlemen, that came up next, we expected a lot more of. It was Javon Evans and El Grande Americano, our walking Starbucks order. But this match got cut short due to injury to Javon Evans. We're still unsure of what happened. It was a suspected concussion. We don't know the full extent of everything. We hope to find out more tonight. What we were able to see was a great back and forth match. Yes, Rayo and Bravo Los Americanos did get involved. But Javon was able to overcome it. We didn't even see where the injury happened. All of a sudden, we were in a discussion, and all of a sudden, we're looking up, and the ref had stopped the match. So, this, ladies and gentlemen, injuries happen. Full credit to WWE and their medical personnel for not taking any risks, taking full precaution, and making sure that the wrestler is safe. Making sure that the wrestler's health is looked after first and foremost. Mr. Best coming in saying Javon is okay. Well, that was per report earlier in the week. We are looking at, we had heard a suspected concussion. He did travel. But again, things can change in a week. So we don't know. That was the last update. Things could have changed. Let's hope he's okay, and we will leave it at that. Ladies and gentlemen, our main event of the evening, which was absolutely huge, was an absolute barn burner and absolutely earned the match of the night. CM Punk and Ireland's own Finn Balor. Ladies and gentlemen, CM Punk came out first, which is champion's choice. Finn Balor came out to his old music, his old entrance, came out high-fiving, getting the European pop. I'm not going to give him the Road Warrior pop, but I'm going to give him that European pop, the home crowd pop. And this match was back and forth. This was incredible. This is the Finn Balor we have missed, ladies and gentlemen. I've missed this Finn Balor. I'm sure you have too. I love him in the Judgment Day, but now that he is sort of becoming that afterthought and sitting there, as CM Punk pointed out the week before, we got the Finn Balor we needed. This match was a back and forth, counter for counter, both men hitting the GTS. Punk able to kick out of the coup de grace. Balor able to escape the Anaconda Vice. And this was a match that stayed for the majority of the time in the ring. And as well, ladies and gentlemen, no interference. I was anticipating, do we get the return of JD in Ireland? We didn't get it. Would have been great to see, would have been another tremendous pop for him, another tremendous pop for the Judgment Day. In the end, CM Punk won in a clean, decisive victory, but we also got that show of respect. There was a handshake, there was a hug between the two men. I know we've been speculating on it for months. Is this the true start of the Finn Balor face turn, the true catalyst to the breakup of the Judgment Day? I don't know. I don't see it. But I think you might have to start looking at it like that if JD decides to stay with Finn, or depending on where JD is going to align himself. And I think it's going to depend now, too, on the Royal Rumble for the women, especially with Raquel, Liv Morgan, and Roxanne having all declared. As well, ladies and gentlemen, we did get our answer. We saw a couple of extra backstage segments with Adam Pearce and AJ Styles. The first one, Adam Pearce questioning, "Are you sure?" AJ said, "Well, let me go call my wife. I have to run this by her." Later on in the night, we saw him go back, and AJ said, "She said exactly what I thought she'd say, kick his ass." Adam Pearce made the match official for the Royal Rumble. We are getting AJ Styles versus Gunther, with AJ's career on the line. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to cover a little bit of Saturday night's main event here shortly. So for now, take a look at what we have coming up throughout the week.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. All times are in Eastern Time. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m., followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Thursday we go TNA as we brace for Impact at 9 p.m. On Fridays, join us for the SmackDown Security Detail at 8 p.m. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. On Sunday be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. And later that night we have the Borsnist at 9 p.m. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day. And please visit turnbucklestudios.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have ever wanted your break in podcasting, content creation, a potential collaboration, or helping us out behind the scenes, turnbucklestudios.org is the place to be for all your Turnbuckle affiliation program needs. Meet the team: Chris Best, Chris Parrish, Bubba Duke, Carl Carafel, and myself under the host section. Watch our latest weekly live episodic shows. Hit the join button, send us your credentials, tell us how you feel you can help us, how you believe we can help you, and we can sit down as a collective and make it fit. Head on over to the shop link, buy the merch, support your favorite shows, support your favorite podcasters, wear what we wear. All of the proceeds come back into our studios to give you a better experience. I actually just made an addition to my studio here today. I've added an actual locker. And that is thanks to all of your help and your purchases. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, turnbucklestudios.org for all your Turnbuckle affiliation program needs. All right. I am going to cover Saturday night's main event. It's not something we would normally cover here in the locker room, but we have some extra time tonight. Chaos and anarchy seemed to be the theme of the show. We were of differing opinions for the main event, for Saturday night's main event. I knew I had called the four-way, which that ended up being the main event. Somebody else thought it was going to be Jacob Fatu and Cody as the main event. Well, that match opened Saturday night's main event. And where do we go from here? This was a match that didn't even get started. Cody was up on the ropes, making his entrance when he was attacked by Jacob Fatu. This turned into a brawl throughout the Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And it was back and forth. They went up into the concessions, back out through the crowd. It was recycling cans, garbage containers, just a brawl, suplexes everywhere. Then they wound up fighting on top of a structure when all of a sudden, from out of nowhere, was Drew McIntyre, who threw Jacob off of Cody and put him through a couple of tables, and then low blows Cody and power bombs him in the other direction through more tables. Now, we know that Drew has said that this is the era of his era. It's wild. It's unpredictable. Why did he target both of these men? He's already told Cody there's no rematch. Cody would have to work his way back. And now he's attacking Jacob for, I guess, the accusations made against Drew for when Jacob was taken out. Drew really seeming to have shifted his focus to multiple people all at once. Then we get the Women's Tag Team Championship match. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. What a match. It was back and forth. There were so many times that I thought the Judgment Day had it. I thought Liv and Roxanne were going to be your new tag team champions. Even at a point where the ref was counting a 3 and Raquel Rodriguez sneaks up from behind and drops Rhea Ripley to break up the pin attempt. I loved it. It was brilliant. This was a masterclass in the strength and the unity for the Judgment Day. And I am here for it. I do think that we are going to see Stephanie Vaquer versus Raquel Rodriguez for that title very, very soon. I would not be surprised to see Liv and Roxanne back in that title picture very, very soon with another shot. And don't be surprised if all 3 women have WWE gold very, very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, the match of the night came next. It was AJ Styles versus his old rival and old friend, Shinsuke Nakamura. This came about on SmackDown the night before when Nakamura said, are you sure you want to do this? If you really want to prove you're still phenomenal, face me at Saturday night's main event. This was a mix of North American wrestling and Japanese strong style. This was a back and forth, again, counter for counter, strike for strike, blow for blow. Both men absolutely gave it everything they have. AJ Styles did come out on top, though I do think this match was a little bit directionless for Shinsuke, though it may have been one last kick at the can for him with AJ Styles. This, like I said, was the match of the night. It was, and yes, pardon the pun, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely phenomenal. And then we moved on to our fatal 4-way number 1 contenders match. Damian Priest, Sami Zayn, Randy Orton, and Trick Williams. This, we thought, may have had to be Trick Williams' Star Maker match. I don't think it was, but it was a masterclass. Trick Williams really proved he belonged, taking opportunities, attempting to steal pins. He wrestled a very, very smart and calculated match, doing everything he needed to do. In the end, Sami Zayn won with the Helluva Kick and pinning Damian Priest, sending the hometown crowd in Montreal home happy. And he is headed to the Royal Rumble now to face Drew McIntyre, who did try to attack Sami after the match. And this is what I mean by Drew McIntyre maybe trying to bite off more than he can chew now, because he is focusing on Cody, on Jacob, and now he's got to worry about Sami Zayn. When does this bite Drew in the ass? And unfortunately, as much as I want him to be a champion, I think this happens a lot sooner than later. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to hit the preview portion of tonight's show, but first, I want you to check out how we can use your help.
A Turnbuckle affiliation program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, video games, or something else, then Turnbuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out turnbucklestudios.org or contact us by email today because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
The Turnbuckle Studios store is open for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the merch and represent the best from the shows you watch on a weekly basis. Multiple styles to choose from with over 10 products available. Don't get left out and pick up all your favorites today. Find us at turnbucklestudios.org.
And ladies and gentlemen, once again, turnbucklestudios.org is the place to be for all your Turnbuckle affiliation program needs. Meet the team: Chris Best, Chris Parrish, Bubba Duke, Carl Carafel, and myself under the host section. Watch our latest weekly live episodic shows and get our socials. Head over to the shop, support the shows, buy the merch, wear what we wear. All of the proceeds come back into our studios to bring you a better experience. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, hit that join button. Send us your credentials. Tell us how you can help us, how we can help you, and we can sit down as a collective to make it fit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, coming up tonight, we don't have a whole lot listed. We do know that there is a fatal four-way number one contenders tag team match to see who will challenge for the tag team championships. Who are going to challenge Jimmy and Jey Uso? We have the New Day, Alpha Academy, Los Americanos, and the Creed Brothers of American Made. Ladies and gentlemen, I absolutely love this. It's time we got American Made back on our TVs. It's back time that we got the Creed Brothers back on our screens, showing us what they can do. We know what the New Day and the Usos can do. It's also time that we did see the Alpha Academy back on our screens. So the fact that we are getting this stems from the European tour leading to the Royal Rumble, when Otis and Tozawa approached Jey Uso and said, "We want a shot at the tag titles." And Jey said, "Let me holler at Jim and we'll figure this out." Los Americanos is rather intriguing to me in this situation, because they are sort of the new kids on the block. But I like it. This is an opportunity. Now, we know that Los Americanos are accomplished wrestlers. They are fantastic in-ring technicians and can move quicker than a hiccup. Who comes out? Who's going to challenge the Usos? And when is that match going to be? Is it going to be at the Royal Rumble? Is it going to be at the Raw after? I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. My money, I think we need to get the Creed Brothers versus the Usos for that match. So, put me down for that. I want the Creed Brothers in that title match. As well, returning, at least temporarily returning from his suspension, is Braun Breaker for a face-to-face with Adam Pearce. Face-to-face, man-to-man. Is it going to just be Braun and Pierce? Or is it going to be Braun Breaker and the Vision ganging up on Adam Pearce? I am going to go with it's going to be Braun Breaker. You're going to have Paul Heyman, of course. But I don't think Braun Breaker really... Well, Braun Breaker is always going to rock the boat no matter how we want to look at it. But I think he wants to keep himself in the picture on Raw and ready to go. So, as much as I don't believe we are going to see the Vision get involved. And if so, what does Adam Pearce do? Does he have somebody there for backup to challenge the Vision outside of Rey Mysterio, Penta, and Dragon Lee? As well, we are going to hear from both AJ Styles and Gunther tonight as it relates to this coming Saturday's match at the Royal Rumble with AJ's career on the line. What does this mean? Are they going to go face to face? Is this going to be a sit down? I don't know how this is going to play out. We know that Gunther's idea is to lull people into that false sense of security instead of taking those cheap shots from behind. But is this something where we need to get that different side of Gunther because AJ's in his head? Ladies and gentlemen, all we can do is stay tuned and find out. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come for me to exodus like the rest of us. So please, always remember, the world is better with you in it. From myself here at the Locker Room Breakdown and all of us at the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program, to those of you out there wherever you are, good night, good luck, we out.
Guy you'll find loves bad hockey teams can't deny. His best friend is up the hand so true, loyal until his friend goes number 2. During the heat of the game it's clear he's a champ when all else disappears.